Hi, I've been actually doing a secret project for a week now. Um, and that's kind of like the problem is because I was supposed to initially do this secret project alongside the things on my channel because I was like, okay, I can split my time. It's okay. I can do it. And then I proceeded not to be able to. And that's on me. That's on me. And so I'm basically being left with the decision. Do I continue to do the thing that has basically taken over my life and or has um, consumed, um, I would say, two-thirds of the attention span that I have. Um, the other thought goes to like my family and friends, you know? And then I guess like technically a little part of it is also like I've still been like uploading to TikTok. Speaking of which, the new community guidelines like, oh yeah, you can't have anything that could suggest or it could say go to a different, you know, social media website. So I basically am re-uploading all of my clips from my gaming and deep dives over there. That's besides the point. Um, so basically here I am, and I'm gonna first explain how this started, how even me saying I was gonna go off for a week even started. It started, okay, technically it started at the beginning of the summer, but I'm here now, and I was just like, I had literally like no motivation to do anything. I had basically like burned myself out kind of with like my TikTok lives. I was like, I need something. I need to find the passion again. And part of that, one day, 8 days ago actually, um, I okay, opened up a document and it wasn't supposed to go anywhere. It wasn't, I promise. I don't think in that time in that space I was looking for really anything besides a place to just like I don't know create something. Um, I'm no longer using Google Docs, don't worry. But that's what kind of started. Oh, that first day, I was just like, okay, what am I doing? Am I doing this? And so I set out a challenge, a goal for myself, which was why don't I complete this? Complete the goal, complete the secret project before the end of the year. If you are still trying to figure out what secret project I mean, one might say a fantasy story. No one might say that is what the secret project is. My thought is, what if I gave myself a limited time to just get the story down? What if I just do it and I gave myself a self-imposed deadline? I thought, because at the time it was 114 days. I'm like, that should be enough time, right? I then look into um, how many words specifically traditional publishing asks for a fantasy novel adult. Um, it's 100,000. So September the 8th, 2025, I decided without really knowing what I was getting myself into, I would give myself 114 days to what I then found out later on to write 100,000 words. And here we are. So that was supposed to be like half of my my goals, right? But for this week long time away. But here was the other thing is I had actually just become really burned out because of staying up really late and basically always doing things. So I ended up finding I guess something I was like passionate for again. Which is really good. It's really nice. But this wasn't supposed to be the only thing that I worked on. If you really like the deep dives, I have a few chapters. If you like the gaming content, here's the thing about Wizard. Um, I didn't know my membership had expired, and so I went to actually film, and I had to end it pretty early because I didn't realize what had happened. So I'm not saying those videos won't come. What I am saying is this has consumed literally the majority of my day. Like I've been staying up until like 2 a.m. And I haven't been doing lives either. But yeah, I've been like staying up pretty late doing it. So like this, when I say that this has really like consumed me, I mean like it truly has. Um, is there a point in which we might worry about, hey, you're writing a lot very quickly? Yeah, yeah. Which is why, my word count goal is actually 1,000 words a day. If I write 1,000 words every day until the end of the year, I will be way past um the word count goal. It's truly too much. The reason why I'm saying 1,000 is because if there are days in which I don't want to write and or I just can't really get anything down, because that did happen for a few days, and then I was worried. Um, But if that is the case, then other days in which I wrote 1,000 or will write 1,000, it will eventually allow me to catch back up. I also recently just graduated, and so the idea of word count, I'm like, I mean, I'm used to them. It is a little bit wild that I really was having a hard time meeting like huge word counts. And I can tell you in a span of 7 days, I have blown past um my junior seminars page count and word count. My senior seminar that I had didn't have one. It was kind of like how many we felt like should be at least around 6 pages, you know. And I will say that was also all double spaced. I have not been doing double spaced. I kind of figured with this, I know there should be an extra space in between the paragraphs and stuff like that, but I figure no one's going to see the first draft, so I might as well just not necessarily care about making sure I have all the spaces in between. I mean, I'm still indenting, I still have the font and size and even the margins, all of that for like the standard, just so like I can see like, oh, because okay, part of the reason why I have the document set up that way is simply to see how big my paragraphs are. So it kind of like consumed me. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, even right now, my brain knows that I should be making videos, I should be making content, but there's also a larger part of me that's like, okay with the story. And like for these 7 days, I have not been nonstop writing. Like that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is my brain is on the story. My brain has been on this story for, I guess, technically 8 days, in which, so those postals that I use for a deep dive, I have one, and it's just, I'm gonna make a second one for the map of the world, so I can like understand what I'm like referencing, but I've been using them for my story. Um, so I'm not gonna actually like tell you the story or like the magic system or anything like that. Because like I think that'll be like interesting. Like I do think the story and stuff like that is interesting. I'm saying in this context of being so early even in the first draft where it's like you can't really have any of it, so it's like it's not interesting for you to even think about having because it's like what is there for you to have? Um, so what I have been doing is I have this notebook that I was using so much in the beginning of everything, and because I was just using this for like ideas, and stuff like that, um, I would say probably like half of it is just like not applicable anymore. Um, but it is also where like I'm going to like find the information about like not it's also the place in which I am going to like basically do math. Oh my gosh, I know I had to do so much math. It literally took me hours and to do math because like I was using like I needed to figure out population, and then I was like, okay, feasibly how many people would do this, how like legitimately so much math. And something about me, I was a history major. I was math. Yes, it was partly due to COVID, but for context, high school, my highest math was algebra 2 because I cannot learn math online. I simply can't do it. It's not just because of COVID. I have done a few years of online schooling before we did COVID, so like I was kind of set. I already knew what I needed, and I basically could just figure things out on my own. But like that's besides what. So that's high school. College, I only took one math class, and it wasn't even math. It was the quantitative math, so it was intro to logic. I did not like that class. It was, uh, not saying like the class was bad or like the professor was bad. I'm just saying like I'm bad at math. I'm really bad at it. So basically what ended up like happening is I was using a lot of calculators and like visually drawing. Don't make fun of me. I was visually drawing the math equations like like um for the huge division stuff too. I was just like drawing representations for the math because if my brain was not like clicking what this is, and then I was like, okay, I have to also kind of be able to verbalize what this is basically I was gonna hold a lot of math problems. But like I drew like basically a diagram. Um and like honestly, it's been really helpful with me being able to actually see what I'm trying to write. Like I know like a lot of people say Pinterest. I have mixed feelings about Pinterest. I do. I'm not sold on it. That is all literally besides the point. Secret project, I'm working on a story and I'm going to continue to work on this story, meaning I will probably not post any other content. And if it is, it's like one or two videos. Um, the posting schedule will also probably be at least one video a week instead of every day. Um, like I said, I have this notebook. I haven't really been using it. What I use for the most part, because like I said, I have basically postals on my wall. I've been using post-its, post-its. I've also been using just like notepads. Yeah, a lot of this I've just been like physically just like writing down. I'm not sure if that's like what? Why are you doing that? Software, I'm not using Google Docs, I'm not using Microsoft. I'm using one of the common writing um, platforms. That I looked it up. They do not use AI literally at all, which I don't want to. um, like I like so the idea that like Microsoft or Google will like do stuff with it. That's gone. um, that is not there. I am using a free writing software that is not like from what I hold and from what I saw, they do not like support it at all. Um, like AI is not touching the story. Like it's like I honestly I'm not even I'm not using Grammarly, I'm not using literally anything. The most I am using is the spell check. Um, which I haven't really been using. Not because I have perfect grammar, because I'm like, I'll come back to it. There was one time that I was like, I cannot figure out how to spell this word. And the spell check also couldn't. And so I just was like, what is this word? um, yeah, a lot of brackets and a lot of, I'm pretty sure, names that will be changed later on, but we'll get the job done. It's what the job. It's what gets the job done. So I will also say with that, I have not really been online. Um, the most I've really been on is TikTok, but then again, that's because I'm like continuing to post every day over there. Um, okay, I'm gonna get into numbers. I'm still gonna call this my secret project, even though like I mean, like, I'm talking about it. It's simply not a secret. I mean, the content of it is a secret, but like that's so my secret project. So the margins, that is set to, from what I was able to see from what I was able to gather from like traditional publishers, the format of what they would like, it's set to that. So it's not set to the 8 by 11 and with those margins. It does look like their software did change it from zero point 0.5 to 0.55. Um, so I hope that's okay. I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference right now. Um, with it, especially since this is my full draft, it's not going to go anywhere but me. Um, so font, okay, what I was recommended from the videos I watched is sticking to Times New Roman. I used it for my assignments. I'm like, it's fine. Size 12. I'm like, oh, back in the good old days. But back in the good old days, I mean, last quarter, spring. Um, so I have like around 8 chapters. I say around 8 chapters because like I don't know if I'm gonna like split one up and make it 9. And like I also am like loosely saying it's a new chapter, and by that I mean like I'm not separating them by scenes. Like, and also I'm not having like multiple scenes in one chapter. It's basically a scene in chapter, and it's just like a long scene. Because I'm like later on in adult like drafts, I would then actually like split it up. Like I don't know what is and is not important, so I'm kind of just like trying to get all of it there. So when I say around 8 chapters, like I don't know. Things could be swapped around, changed up, combined, all of that, because I'm sure I'm info dumping. I am sure I am. It's okay. It's full draft. Um, so with that, keep in mind, I've tried to format it as much as I could. Um, like I was having it like a space in between each paragraph, but I noticed for me it was like easier for my brain to not have that and instead have everything together. Um, so that for later on. So because of that, it is at 39 pages. 39. The most I have written for an assignment, everything together, I think it was 15 pages. So that's like the most I've written, and that is double spaced, um, margins, all of that. Which, yeah, okay. So now let's get on to the word count because the word count is the actual goal. Page count is not the goal. I've just been waiting for like the big number. um, so to keep in mind, by the end of the year, so by December 31st of 2025, I would like to have finished this project. Finishing this project looks to be around 100,000 words. In the span of 7 days, and I say seven because what I wrote to start all of this, it's gone. I deleted it. Not because it was necessarily bad, but it was just like um, characters changed, plot, and like stuff like it just didn't make sense anymore to keep it. So I just like I know you're not supposed to edit, but I was like this doesn't make sense. Why I'm gonna keep it here? Like the characters aren't even there anymore. They don't exist. Word count. I had over the span of 7 days wrote, and I checked this before I started filming. 11,524. 11.5K in 7 days. I told you that this has consumed me. 2/3 of my days, either all thinking about writing it, and by thinking I mean like it's like I'm coming up with ways in which things are gonna come forth, or I'm actually writing it. Like it is legitimately consuming me. The only times I'm not doing that is when I'm like with family or I'm actively like I need a break. I will also say I'm not like doing it for like hours and hours and hours. I made up the times I am. But that's like maybe once or twice a day. I like doing it for a few hours. It's mostly like writing, take a break. Writing, take a break. Writing, take a break. Sometimes the break is just like literally just scrolling on TikTok. Other times it's like I'm with my I'm with my family. Like I enjoy that, and I'm honestly very grateful that that is happening. My brain is doing this to me, and like it's like the motivation is there. Um, like I'm not complaining. Especially in the beginning of the days, I didn't really I don't know, like it was very hard to write anything. And now I don't know, I feel like I'm also just like in a place right now where it's like I know what's going to happen. Like I have legitimately like scenes mapped out, written out, like stuff like that, like a summary of what is going to happen. but I'm not there yet in the story. And so right now my brain's kind of like, okay, we need to get there. We need to figure out a way to get there. Um, so that's me. Book content apart from deep dive. Um, if I'm just doing that, I don't know. Not like I have not read a book since I started. What I will say is what I have so far is I can definitely say it's adult. I can definitely say it's fantasy. um, and it's in third person with two people's points of views. I'm also going to say it in the first video I make about this. They're human astrists. What I mean by that is they're not from this planet. They're from a planet in which I won't describe because I think that will probably be a little bit boring. They are from a planet that has multiple suns, multiple moons, all of that. Um, so they ain't human. Okay. Um, yeah, I think that is what I'm gonna leave with. Um, basically no information about the book besides fantasy, adult, and third person with two points of views. I will say I'm pretty sure that like there was romance in it. I there's romance in it. To what like extent I'm like unsure. Like I know that there was romance there. Um, I haven't written the romance, so I don't know to what extent. Um, yeah, so that's what I've been doing for technically 8 days, but 7 days. Um, here's a structural that I think I'm going to do. I think once a week I'm going to make a video and say what my board count is that I have, and if any, I don't know, like big things. I don't know if that's like I would I would describe it. I mean, I did complain so much about doing the math. That is my goal. Is to finish this story by the end of the year. Now, I'm not saying querying or like beta readers or doing anything like that. I'm saying I want to finish draft one, finish the book by the end of the year. Um, I have no other expectations for this story. Um, for like goals. Um, yeah. Okay. I've been rambling for so long, but I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Goodbye.